You remember the conversation clearly. You know what was said, and the other person looks at you, calm and certain, and tells you it never happened, that you're remembering it wrong, that you're too sensitive, too emotional, making things up again. And here's the strange part. After enough of those moments, you start to believe them. You start to wonder if maybe you're really the problem. That doubt is not an accident. It's the goal. What I'm describing has a name, gaslighting, and it's not a mood or personality clash. It's a pattern, and it works in a specific, repeatable way. Once you can see the mechanism, it loses most of its power. So let me walk you through how it actually works. The word comes from an old story. A man wants to convince his wife she is losing her mind, so he slowly dims the gas lights in their home. And every time she notices, he tells her nothing has changed. The lights are fine. She's imagining it. Little by little, she stops trusting her own eyes. That's the whole engine of it. Not one big lie, a steady drip of small ones until you no longer trust yourself. Start with what gaslighting is really after. Most lies are trying to get you to believe a specific false thing. Gaslighting is aiming at something bigger. It's trying to get you to stop trusting your own judgment altogether. The target is not a fact. The target is your confidence in yourself. Because once you no longer trust your own memory, your own feelings, your own read on the situation, you become dependent on the other person to tell you what is real. And that is a tremendous amount of power to hand someone. It's the power to rewrite what has happened whenever it suits them. So how does it get there? It's gradual, and that's what makes it hard to catch. Nobody starts a relationship by telling you that you're crazy. It comes in small pieces, and each piece on its own seems too minor to argue about. The first piece is denial. You bring up something that happened, something you know happened, and instead of discussing it, they simply deny the event itself. I never said that. That never happened. You're making it up. Not a disagreement about what it meant, a flat denial that it occurred at all. And the first few times, you push back. But arguing about whether reality happened is exhausting, and most people eventually stop. The second piece is turning your reaction into the problem. When something they did upsets you, the conversation gets moved off of what they did to you and onto how you responded. You're too sensitive. You're overreact. You can't take a joke. You're crazy. Now you're no longer talking about the original thing. You're defending your own sanity. That's a trade you can never win. Notice the switch. The subject stops being their reaction and becomes your reaction. The third piece is the slow isolation. Often, quietly, the other people in your life get painted as the enemy. Your friends don't really care about you. Your family is against the relationship. Nobody understands the way they do. It rarely looks like control at first. It looks like closeness. But the effect is that the people who would say, wait, that's not right, I was there, gets pushed to the edges, and with them gone, there's no one left to check reality against. Just the one person doing the rewriting. And there's a fourth piece that keeps you from leaving. The warm moments mixed in. If it were cruelty all the time, you would walk out, but it's not. It comes with apologies, with tenderness, with the version of them you fell for. That mix is exactly what keeps you holding on, waiting for the good to come and stay. It almost never does, but hope is enough. Now, why does this work on a smart, capable person? Because that's the part that confuses everyone, including the person going through it. If you are being gaslit, you are probably wondering how you, of all people, fell for it. Here's the honest answer. It works precisely because you trust the person. Gaslighting is not a stranger on the street telling you the sky is green. You would laugh. It's someone you love, someone whose words you rely on, telling you gently and repeatedly that you have it wrong. When the source is close to you, your instinct is to believe them over yourself. That instinct is normally a good one. It's what makes relationships work. The person doing this is using the trust the way a lockpick uses a key. It works because you trusted them. That's not the weakness. That's how trust is supposed to work. There's one more reason it takes hold, and it's uncomfortable. Doubting yourself is, in a strange way, easier than accepting the alternative. If you are the problem, too sensitive, too much, then a relationship can still be saved by you trying harder. But if they are lying to you on purpose, then the person you love is doing something cruel, and that is a far heavier thing to face. The mind often picks the lighter weight. It picks self-doubt. So what does the research suggest? I'm not going to give you a clean 5-step exit, because leaving these situations is genuinely hard and often not safe to rush. But there are a few things worth holding on to. The first is the simplest defense. Write things down. Gaslighting depends on your memory being fuzzy enough to overwrite. A note with a date, a saved message, a quiet record. It gives you something outside of your own head to check against. When someone tells you that it never happened, you don't have to win the argument. You just have to know privately that it did. A written record is something they cannot rewrite. The second is to watch for the pattern, not the single moment. Everyone everyone misremembers sometimes. Everyone occasionally says, that's not how it went. That's not gaslighting. Gaslighting is the pattern, the repeated denial of things you know happen, the constant flip to your reaction, the slow shrinking of your world. One moment proves nothing. The pattern is the tell. The third is to reconnect with the people who got pushed away. The whole method depends on you having no one to check reality against. The people who knew you before, who can say no, were always level-headed. They're the mirror the pattern is trying to take you from. Getting even one of them back changes what you're able to see. None of this makes it simple. If you're in the middle of it, the doubt is real, and it does not lift the second you understand the mechanism. But understanding it is where it starts to break, because the entire thing runs on one belief that you cannot trust yourself. The moment you begin to trust yourself again, even a little, the lights come back up, and you can see the room for what it is. You were never crazy. You were being told you were by someone with a reason to say it. Now you know the reason, and you know the pattern. Trust the record, trust the pattern, trust yourself. Start there. Underneath all of this, the chasing, the doubting, the pulling close and pushing away, is one quiet blueprint that shapes how you love and who you pick. There are 4 of them. Next, we lay them out. I'll see you there.